guys, welcome back to another video. I added some more posters. I changed the area as to where my posters were. They were right over there, but now I posted them here. I hung up my animal posters, and up there is a self-portrait. Anyway, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to draw a canal. You guys can use this video as a tutorial, and I'm starting to really like true crime, so I want to start talking about more murder cases. And again, if you are very sensitive to gore and stuff, then you can click off the video or find another video. If not, you can just turn down the volume. You can just mute me, okay? You can mute me and do what I'm doing if you want to use it as a tutorial. If not, you can listen to music. Do whatever you want, basically. If you don't want to listen to my voice, it's fine. Anyways, let's get to drawing canal from this anime. Also, Fairy Tail is also an anime that I used to watch. It's funny. I recommend it. Yeah. Let's get to the drawings. Okay, so we're drawing canal, and we are reading the case of Charles Manson. Let's go. Charles Manson was the leader of the Manson family and the manipulative mastermind behind a series of murders. His notable victims were Gary Hidman, Sharon Tate, Roman Polanski, Abigail Folger, a name that I can't say, Jason Sebrig, Lino LaBianca, Rosemary LaBianca, Bernard Cowie, Barbara Whitey, Dennis Wilson. Charles is right now imprisoned in Florida in Corinth State Prison. He was denied parole each time a hearing came up, a total of 12 times. On January 1st, 2017, Manson was taken to the hospital and was found to be suffering from gastrointestinal bleeding. While still very ill, he was returning to prison. On November 15th that same year, he was taken back to the hospital. Just 4 days later, while still in the hospital, Manson died from cardiac arrest resulting from respiratory failure and colon cancer. He was 83 years old. Susan Atkins was serving her life sentence at Central California Women's Facility in Coachella, California, until her death on September 24th, 2009. She was 16 years old. We're going to be talking about Charles's disturbances. Manson aggressively vocalized his views and opinions regarding to the testimonies and statements made by the prosecution. A memorable moment occurred when the judge fell into a disagreement, resulting in Manson physically throwing himself at the judge, exclaiming, "Someone should cut your head off." Soon after, the Manson family started to chant in Latin in support of Manson's outburst. The prosecution finished their case. Turning the attention to the defense team, to everyone's surprise, the defense declared that it rested their case. As long as the women began protesting that they wanted to testify, all attorneys were called to chambers. The defense team strongly opposed the testimony of their clients because they felt that the women were still under the influence of Manson and would testify that they were the sole perpetrators involved in the crime. Judge Dolder declared that the right to testify took precedence over the attorney's objection. When Atkins took the stand for her testimony, her attorney refused to question her. Manson took the stand the next day and testified for over an hour in regards to the case. The jury was excused during the time to prevent evidence incriminating co-defendants to prejudice to the jury. Watson was tried in August of 1971 and found guilty of 7 counts of murder and 1 count of conspiracy. We are going to talk about the first murder on this list, named the Hidman murder. Charles, or quote-unquote Tex Watson, scammed Bernard Crowe to obtain money from Manson. Crowe threatened Manson and the Manson family. Soon after, Manson shot Crowe under the false pretense that Crowe was a part of the Black Panthers, an African-American leftist organization. However, Crowe did not die, and Manson feared retaliation from Crowe. In order to escape and move into a new territory away from Spain Ranch or the Manson family compound, Manson needed money. In the midst of Manson's escape plan, he was told that his friend Gary Hinman was coming into some money from an inheritance. In an effort to retrieve the money from Hinman, Manson ordered Bobby, along with Mary and Susan, to go to Hinman's residence and persuade him to turn over the money. Hinman was uncooperative after being held hostage for days. Manson came over with a sword and slashed Hinman's left ear, ultimately murdering Hinman by stabbing him twice to death. Hinman's blood was smeared political piggy on the wall along with the Black Panther's paw to implicate the Black Panthers Party. Although there was still much speculation regarding the circumstances surrounding Hinman's murder, Buisoli was arrested. Then he was found sleeping in Hinman's vehicle, wearing the bloody clothes worn during the stabbing and with the murder weapon concealed in a trunk tire. Next, we're going to go to the Tate's murder. The Tate murder. In a semi-isolated location in the canyons of Beverly Hills, on CeeLo Drive, actress Sharon Tate and director Roman Polanski were leasing a home together. On August 9, 1969, a pregnant Tate was enjoying the company of her friends in the absence of her lover and father of her unborn child. Polanski, those spending the night with Tate were Abigail, Walsh, and Jay. Into the late hours of the night, Tate's neighbor claimed to have heard suspicious gunshots but did not alert the authorities. There were also reports of a man's screams coming from the Tate residence. Later in the night, a private security guard hired by property owners also heard gunshots coming from Tate's residence and proceeded to notify the Los Angeles Police Department. The following morning at 8 a.m., the housekeeper came into the residence and discovered the brutally murdered bodies. According to the book Helter Skelter, the true story of the Manson murders by Vincent Polanski and Kurt Jennery, Charles Manson directed Charles, Watson, Susan, Linda, and Patricia to enter the Tate residence, formerly the Melcher residence, who rejected Manson's music compilation, and to destroy everyone in it as gruesome as you can. Watson, Atkins, Casabin, and Winkle all climbed up a bushy platform to gain the entrance into the property while they were trespassing. Stephen Parent, a visitor from the residence caretaker, William Garretson, was leaving the party in his vehicle. Watson stopped Parent, swung a knife at him, and then shot him 4 times in the chest and abdomen. Watson entered the residence by cutting the screen window and opened the front door for Atkins and Coronel. Tasman was at the end of the driveway to keep watch. Watson and the group entered the residence and found Tate, Folger, and Sebring. Tate and Sebring were tied together by their necks, and Folger was taken into the nearby bedroom. Sebring was shot and stabbed 7 times. Frensky was bound by a towel but managed to free himself. After doing that, he became involved in physical altercations with Atkins, resulting in her stabbing him in the legs. Frosky continued to flee, but Watson struck him with the gun several times over the head, shot and stabbed him multiple times. The gun grip broke as a result of Watson striking Frosky over the head. Folger fled the room when she was taken and was chased by Kronenkel. Folger was stabbed by Kronenkel and eventually stabbed by Watson as well. Folger was stabbed a total of 28 times by Kronenkel and Watson. Meanwhile, Ferensky was struggling across the lawn when Watson came to stab him again. Ferensky was stabbed a total of 51 times. Tate, witnessing the horrific crimes, pleaded with Atkins for mercy, but was rejected. Tate was stabbed a total of 16 times. Tate's unborn child did not survive that incident. And we're going to look at his motive. Manson's philosophy of the upcoming apocalypse was his true motive behind the killings. He told his family that Helter Skelter was coming. According to the Mansons, Helter Skelter was the uprising of a racial war between black people and white people. He would gain from the racial war by hiding himself and his family in a cave located in Death Valley until the war ended. He would facilitate this war by killing white people and inflicting the African American community with various acts such as disposing of victims' wallets in a highly populated area by African American residents. And here's a little overview on Charles Manson. He was an American criminal and musician who led the Manson family, and a cult, and that was a cult, based in California. In the late 1960s, some members committed a series of 9 murders at 4 locations in July and August of 1969. He was born in Ohio, and died in California. And his children were Charles Manson Jr., Charles Luther Manson Jr., and more. His spouse was Candy Stevens and Rosalina Jean Willis, who died. Also, there is this question of which one of the Manson family members was released. One of the family members of the Manson family had been convicted of a murder and later released, Stephen Grogan. Grogan convicted and given a death sentence by the jury for the murder and torture of Donald Shea with Manson, and was freed in 1985. He was born in July of 1951, and he is, 71 years old. He has one child. He had one child who was born in July 1951. I'm sorry if I said that. And his criminal status was paroled in 1985. Why was he released, you may ask? After serving nearly 15 years in the California medical facility in Vacaville, for some years with Manson, Steve had assisted the authorities in showing the map where Donald Shorty Shea's body was buried. Largely due to the cooperation with the authorities, Grogan was paroled and was released on November 11th, 1985. And I think this man's still alive, so yeah. Also, make sure to subscribe to my current peeps, which are Crappy Foods, Harrison, and Dope Duo. They're my friends. Also subscribe to the people that I'm sub to. Great, thanks, Steven. Bye.